Happy Wednesday, Facebook family and friends. If it's Wednesday, you know it's Facebook Live Day with Dr. Connell. I'm Abby Connell at Carolina Hearing Services in Charleston, South Carolina, 1543 Ashley River Road. And today we're talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and it's something that every single person really on the planet right now is dealing with. And that is the separation that comes from the physical separation that we're actually dealing with because of coronavirus. Today is such an apropos day to be having this conversation because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, historically, is a day where we all get together, we give thanks, we are so blessed and grateful for everything that we have, whether it be little or small. But typically, we are having a lot of large family gatherings. Even if they're not large family gatherings, we're gathering with family and friends that we may not see as often as we would like throughout the year. I myself will have a very small Thanksgiving this year. I'm very fortunate that my mom and stepdad live here in the Charleston area, and they're very active in the lives of myself and my two children and my husband. So we've been extremely safe, and they've not been anywhere. We have really only been together with them. So I am lucky that I get to be with them tomorrow. But normally my brother and his wife and their daughter would join us. However, as a veterinarian, my sister-in-law actually was exposed by one of her vet techs. So they are being smart and they're staying at home. So they will FaceTime so that we can all see each other and toast to another year that we are thankful to all be healthy and happy. So we're all dealing with this separation, and while we're all trying very hard to stay positive, what we really know is that when we're not able to be around family and friends, it's a real bummer. And when you have separation, it automatically leads to additional anxiety and stress and loneliness. When you have hearing loss on top of that, you can multiply that by probably infinity. Hearing loss in and of itself is a very isolating problem. Nobody can see our hearing loss. And so we're often finding ourselves just in a situation where we might be doing the smile and nod. Yeah, everybody's laughing, I'm gonna laugh too. And then you might ask a loved one later what you missed. Today, that brings this to a whole new level with coronavirus, because we've talked a lot in the last few weeks about the mask effect. And so I wanna really, there's three main topics, maybe four, that I wanna make today regarding all of this. And the first is that the mask effect is real. It is real. And I quoted last week or the week before that the mask effect can actually reduce someone's voice by 5 to 10 decibels. And that was in regard to the regular throwaway surgical masks, as well as the cloth masks that a lot of people are making or purchasing. Ironically, just this morning, I was catching up on my reading and continuing education. And in this month's Audiology Today that I just received, so this is the November-December 2020, not episode, magazine, publication, having word retrieval problems today. And sure enough, in here, I stand corrected. And there is a brand new study out that was actually completed by a former grad school colleague of mine. That's Sam Atcherson, and he is actually bilateral cochlear implant recipient because he has severe to profound hearing loss that he has had since childhood, but he is also an audiologist. So he and a colleague did a study talking about the speech degradation with transparent face coverings. So I was actually shocked to read that mask only, and this study did mask only and mask plus face shield. Mask only, the surgical mask is in fact 5 dB, and those cloth masks are about 10 dB. But looking at a surgical mask, an N95 mask, a KN N95 mask. The face view mask with the transparent window that I have shown you. There's also a safe and clear mask with a transparent window and a transparent cloth mask, which is similar to what Sam is showing under the face mask here. Those masks alone go 5 dB to 21.2 dB in attenuation or decrease of someone's voice. So my 5 to 10 was a bit off. Take that 10 up to 21.2. Now, if you add a face covering plus a face shield, that can go from 20 decibels up to 29.2 decibels. So I'm just going to show you, and if anybody actually wants a copy of this article, just shoot me a message or make a comment. But I was floored. I didn't even realize that as we're doubling up and using face coverings along with face shields, that it could be as much as 29.2 decibels. That's 30 decibels. Perceptually, that is huge. So that sparked a whole new crazy in my head of how many things I wanted to talk about today. Because knowing that it's as much as 30 decibels, that someone's voice is being reduced when they're wearing a mask plus a face shield, add a hearing loss on top of that, and now not only are you socially isolated because you're being good and staying at home and not having large family gatherings, but you are struggling so much more than you need to when you also have a hearing loss.
UPS.
Oh, UPS is here.
Is this one going?
Hang on just a second. I'm not sure if it's ready yet.
Oh, you don't?
Thank you.
Y'all want to take it later or something?
We'll drop it off.
Okay.
Thanks so much. All right, that was our nice UPS guy, ready to take a package that I wasn't sure if it was ready to go. Anyway, so back to the topic. So now that I know that we can go as much as 30 decibels, your isolation is going tenfold with that. You're struggling already to try and hear and communicate. You're stressed, you're isolated, your anxiety levels are on the rise. You're sad because you're not able to travel to see family and friends. And now compound that with just not even being able to hear people very well because we have such a huge reduction in the amount of sound that you're able to get. So the first point that I want to make to try and combat this isolation and all of the myriad of additional stressors that we have is to see your hearing healthcare professional. We can help with that mask effect, whether it means that we need to make a totally separate program to deal with when you're communicating with people that have a mask, or if you're just going to be changing a little bit depending on what types of masks you're around in your day-to-day basis. So whether you're getting ready to travel or not, you want to make sure that you see your hearing healthcare professional. I absolutely want to make sure that I can optimize your hearing aid settings so that you can hear your loved ones the best you possibly can. And if you are out and about and working and you are wearing a mask all day long and communicating with other people with masks all day long, you might benefit from a whole separate mask effect program. But the mask effect is real, people, and now I can actually show you published data that shows that it is. So don't feel like you just have to put up with it. There's definitely fine-tuning optimizations that we as your hearing healthcare provider can make to really help with that mask effect. And that is going to really at least take away some of the additional stress and anxiety that this social isolation brings, because when you are communicating with people, you want to be able to do it with as much ease as possible. So when we're talking about the holiday, Thanksgiving being one of my favorite holidays, you're also not typically in your completely normal listening environments. Perhaps you're going to a loved one's home. If you are traveling, you're going to be in airports, you're going to be in homes, hotels. There's going to potentially be a completely different listening environment than you're normally in. That is huge. You need to be aware that the added noise, the added groups of people that you're going to be around, After being pretty socially isolated during coronavirus quarantines, now if all of a sudden you're being social, your listening environment and your bubble of sound just went from a pretty small bubble to a pretty large bubble. And I'm here to tell you that that's not only going to increase your stress and anxiety because you're used to being in smaller groups or by yourself, but you're also going to be around people who are not your most familiar speakers, which means you have bigger groups of people talking. It's Thanksgiving, it's holidays, people are going to be happy to be seeing each other, so they will talk faster, they will talk louder, there will be a lot more going on around you, and you need to be prepared for that. Your hearing aids may not be of the technology level that can reduce that background noise significantly, and in general, you're so used to being in more quiet environments that your brain and your hearing center is not as prepared for how many more competing sounds there will be. So be prepared. Not only do I want you to be prepared with hearing aids that are functioning, that are clean, and that are free of wax, but you want to be mentally prepared for the change in your listening environments. You are definitely going to find you may be a little bit overwhelmed with how much more sound you're processing. Also, the people who are very unaware of what they need to do to communicate successfully with you may be yelling at you and wondering if your hearing aids are working properly, because they might think, well, she has hearing aids or he has hearing aids, so they're cured and they're going to hear and understand everything we say. And that's not the case. So make sure that you have realistic expectations. And as someone who always advocates for hearing impaired people to be active listeners, you want to be very prepared. You want to really prepare yourself to be an active listener. Don't just sit in the corner smiling and nodding or checking out because you can't follow the conversation. Be an active participant in your communication. Let people know to talk lower and slower. If someone speaks to you in a regular conversational level and they slow down the rate of speech just a little bit, you will do fantastic in your ability to understand what's being said. Don't expect yourself to understand 10 different family members talking at once who then turn around and say, "So what do you think, Grandma? Hey, Mom, what do you think about that plan for tomorrow?" Be an active listener. Say, "I'm sorry, there was too many people talking at once. Do you mind repeating that for me?" And then look at the person that's talking to you so that you are fully prepared and ready to communicate effectively. So the main points I want to leave you with are to make sure that you're prepared. Just be prepared. First and foremost, make sure that your hearing aids are working, that you have extra batteries with you, or that you have your charger with you. Make sure that you are doing your daily cleaning practices. Get that wax out of there. When that wax is in the ears, it's getting in the hearing aids, and it's going to keep you from hearing as well as you should. So be prepared with clean, ready, good working hearing aids, number one, and then be prepared for a different listening environment. More people means more background noise, lower and slower. Don't worry and don't stress yourself that you need to understand and follow every conversation that's going on. Your brain can't multitask like that anymore. So make sure that you're prepared with clean and ready hearing aids. Be sure to pack extra batteries. Make sure you've got your charger if you use rechargeables. Also, if you need to see your hearing healthcare professional before you leave so that he or she can take care of some program adjustments, especially those that can account for the mask effect, definitely do that before you are heading out of town or to any family members' homes. Don't be scared to be an active participant in your communication. That is big rule number 3. Be an active listener. Only you know if you're struggling. Other people might see you checking out a little bit, but this is the holiday season and it's a busy time. So I want to make sure that you're as prepared as you possibly can be. As always, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out to me Abby Connell. 843-556-4327 is our direct office line. You can also email me directly at aconnell, that's ACONNELL, at audpractice, AUDpractice.net. I look forward to speaking to you next week. And again, if you do want any specifics on the article that I mentioned today about the mask effect, just shoot me an email, give me a call, or drop a line in the comments section, and I'll make sure to get it directly to you. I hope everyone has a super, super, super happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving, and I will see all of you next week. Take care.